Hey everybody, and welcome. Today's destination brings us to Nashville, Tennessee, where we are getting ready to visit
Lane Motor Museum.
All right, everybody, so here is what it looks like as soon as you enter the Lane Motor Museum. Something that is really cool about this place is it is a museum with over 150 cars, and it is the largest European car museum in the entire United States, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And right here is a DeLorean. And look how funny this is. It says, please do not enter this car. You could disrupt future events. Here's a pretty sleek car. This is a Dodge Viper. And this is pretty cool. They actually have a stand where you can put your tripod. So we're gonna put our gimbal up here. And we're all gonna hop in. This is a really cool car. This reminds me of something you would see in the History Channel's The Men Who Built America series. We're talking about a really, really antique car from 1925.
It reminds me of 1914 or something like that.
This is actually no joke. This is called a 2005 Otto Canoe. I want to say that again. This is called an Otto Canoe, and it is the 2005 model. Huh. This car is called the Gyro X, and it has won multiple awards at various car shows, but just doesn't seem very stable to me. It has two very small wheels in the back that you can see back there, almost like lawnmower tires. And then down here is a large tire. The only thing I can think of is when I was little, I wrecked on a three-wheeler. And if you remember the death traps known as three-wheelers, they were not very safe. In fact, I have a permanent scar on my left leg to this day from a three-wheeler accident. And something tells me this thing is probably just as dangerous. Here's a car from 1962. It's got the steering wheel on the right side, so something tells me it's definitely a European car. It is a Lotus. So this looks a lot like the Zeppelin, but Gentry, what did you say it looks like?
A submarine from a movie.
A submarine from a movie. It's pretty neat. And here is a wooden replica of this, the Dymaxion. Here's what the inside, you can see inside there, what it looks like. It's just basically like a very large van. There's a lot of footroom in there though, for sure. There's just one singular headlight in front of this. Here's another car oddity here from 1946. It's called the 1946 Houston Rocket. Here's a neat car. This has some skis on the bottom here. Yeah.
Like the Smoky Mountain.
It's got a propeller on the back. That is really cool. And here's yet another vehicle that has propeller propulsion to make it go forward and backwards. some of these cars, I wasn't a big fan of the cartoon Futurama, but I do remember the cartoon Futurama, and some of these cars look like they are straight out of the cartoon from Futurama. Wow, look at that. Here's a bicycle with a propeller. Every kid would love to have one of those. Now, we knew before we entered the Lane Motor Museum that there would be plenty of cars. Again, the largest European car collection in the entire United States is right here in this museum, but we did not know about the airplanes. So a fun story, the very first time I took a flight lesson, we actually thought that we were out of fuel mid-flight. So it was a pretty interesting experience to say the least. And I'm gonna put that video clip in at the very end of this video, but I will say I was responsible for filling the fuel in both wings of the aircraft, and we did not reset the avionics. It's something that I didn't know of because my flight instructor didn't make us aware that we were supposed to do that, nor did he do it. So it was a pretty interesting couple of moments when we were up in the air. And again, I'll put that at the very end of this video so you can enjoy where we thought we were running out of fuel as I was flying an airplane for the very first time. Here's a 2011 Yike bike, which is a foldable and collapsible electric bicycle. This scooter almost looks like a Coleman cooler in the back here. It is a 1964 folding scooter. Here's a 1939 New Map Baby. Look how small these cars are. Deirdre, stand next to that car there, bud, and show everybody how small it is. Wow. Here's another three-wheeled vehicle, 1958 BMW Isetta 300. And I'm actually wrong. Even though these tires are not aligned, there's actually 4 tires, but it does seem like it would be a little off balance. Here is a 1968 Amphicar. It's an amphibian car like you would see at Disney Springs down in Florida, where the cars go into the water, but also they're capable of driving on land. 1958 Amphicar. Now this gives a whole new meaning to stow and go seating. This is a 1992 hobby car B612. There's a 1959 Scooter car MK1. There you can see it has one singular seat, and there is no steering wheel. It's almost like bicycle handles for the steering. I think our lawnmower actually has larger tires than this. I could not imagine driving something like this, but I will say the visibility is fantastic. I mean, there's windows pretty much everywhere. I mean, the only area where there's no visibility is right back here at the gas tank. I'll never forget how luxurious I felt when I had my first backup camera in my truck. But I will say that, look at this. Here is the front of the vehicle. Back in the day, you could just have your passengers look in the back for you to communicate rather than having a backup camera. Pretty cool. Here is a bicycle collection at Lane Motor Museum. Check out the tires on this beast. Look at my hand in comparison to how large these tires are. This is called a Specialized Fat Boy bike, built in 2017. And this bicycle right here is called a Bike Friday, and the objective of this bicycle is to be able to be broken apart very easily, to be put into a suitcase where you can quickly snap it back together and ride on vacation. And this is called the Cheetah Cat, which is a bicycle built for speed. And here's another one from 1997. This is called the Zip. Also built for aerodynamics and speed. Here are a couple of tandem bicycles. We actually got one of these either at an auction or a yard sale as a kid, and I remember riding one of these a couple of times with my dad back on the farm, back the lane on the farm, and next thing you know, it just disappeared. I'll have to ask my parents whatever happened to that thing. Something tells me, as comical as this car looks, that it's very, very fast. The seat belts have 2 straps, almost like you would be strapped in for a roller coaster. So I would safely imagine that this thing probably has some get up to it. And I was definitely wrong. It turns out this is a 2007 SLC K200, and its top speed is only 68 miles an hour. Some of these vehicles are just unimaginable that they are or were street legal. I just cannot vision in my mind seeing a vehicle such as this one driving down the road, or even the interstate for that matter. This car right here looks like it has a couple of booster rockets in the back. Look at that, it's the lights. Taillights. This is kind of fun here. Let's see how many cars are stacked on top of each other. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty cool. We are getting into some really old cars now, especially when they look like they have bicycle tires on them. This right here is called the Moshe Velo car from 1931. And as you can see, right down below, looks like bicycle chains. And here's one of the oldest cars that we have seen yet. This is a 1929 Austin 7 fabric saloon vehicle. And I am quite certain that this was probably the luxury vehicle of the time because it had fabric seats. And although some of these really old European cars are super small, they definitely did not forget about comfort. Look at this. It is a headrest that has been built into the vehicle for the driver. Back in 1965, this car right here was the equivalency of less than $200 US to purchase. This right here is a 1935 pedal car, and the way that this worked was you would actually push the pedal down and just keep cranking that pedal, and you would move this mechanism right here to turn. Here is another pedal car, and this particular car is made of wood. No joke, it's wood, and not very thick wood, if that. Here are the seats inside, and here are the pedals that the driver would use. And look at that, the passenger could also participate and pedal as well. So you could have twice the speed and twice the power if you had a second occupant up front. And they just keep getting a little bit older. This car is from 1909. And look at this, there's no headlights on this one, folks. You actually have to light one of the lanterns on this side as well as this side to be seen as you were driving down the road. That is a remarkable piece of history right there. For those of you who know a lot about antique cars, tell us how this works. There's a crank down here. Is this how you would start the vehicle? I honestly have no clue. I'm just astounded by the lamps that you would have to light in order to be seen as you're driving down the road. I would assume here are your gear shifts, or how to shift into different gears. 1909 Renault. Was it this model of Dodge Viper that Ferris Bueller drove on Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I could be thinking of a different vehicle, but comment below and help me out here. All right, guys, that was the Lane Motor Museum here in Nashville, Tennessee. Gentry, what was your favorite vehicle that you got to see today?
The one with the sleds on it.
The one with the sleds? That was pretty cool. And yeah, Jennifer, did you have a favorite?
I like the one from 1909. The older the better. I think this is really cool.
And did you have a fun time on the playground? I had a little play area. Did you have fun? All right.
I also like that they had like this little yellow car, and it reminded me of Pac-Man.
Of Pac-Man. That's pretty neat. And my favorite also was the one from 1909. I just think about how life would have been years ago, where you had to actually light an oil lamp just to be able to see to drive down the street. And of course, there's no windshield wipers, there's no roof. So when it comes to adverse weather conditions, I mean, you're in a pretty bad way, not able to drive. But a lot of cool cars here. Again, the largest European car collection in the United States is right here in this museum. Over 150 cars. There's bicycles, there's motorcycles, there's pretty much anything that you can dream of here, and it's really cool, especially if you're a car enthusiast. Thanks so much for tagging along with us today, and we can't wait to see you next time on Every Day is Saturday.
That was weird. What? Oh, it's got the wrong fuel in there. I was about to say, we gotta have more than 20 minutes of gas.
Are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good. It only thinks we have 11 gallons for some reason.
Did I read it wrong when I was reading it, or?
I hope not. I think what happened is someone didn't reset it when they were flying down here. Either way, we're not going to be out too long.
Okay, sounds good. Just in case I did read it wrong, since it was the first time I